Apollo ran after Daphne. She prayed for transformation rather than his embrace. Welcome to the Prytan Podcast, a daily practice in living well and flourishing, guided by archetypal psychology and eternal virtues through the lens of the ancient Greek world. Each episode, we listen to a myth or other story and discuss what it means for you, the listener. Today, we're exploring Apollo and Daphne, the shadow archetype of emotional distance and the virtue of Sophrosyne, self-mastery. The myth. The myth begins with Eros, the winged god of love. After Apollo killed the serpent at Delphi and was full of pride in his silver bow, he mocked the smaller bow that Eros carried. Eros, in response, shot Apollo with a golden arrow that inflamed desire, and shot Daphne, daughter of the river god Peneus, with a leaden arrow that repelled it. From that moment, Apollo burned and Daphne fled. Apollo pursued her. He called after her as he ran. He described himself, his qualities, his domains. I am Apollo, son of Zeus, lord of the oracle, god of music and healing. He told her what she could have. He could not understand why she kept running. Daphne ran until she could not run anymore, and then she prayed to her father Peneus. She asked to be transformed. By the time Apollo reached her, her skin had become bark, her hair had become leaves, her arms had become branches. The laurel tree stood where Daphne had been. Apollo, still in love, embraced the tree. He declared it his sacred tree, wove its leaves into his crown, and made it his symbol. The laurel in front of his temples grew from a woman who had preferred transformation to his embrace. An earlier version of the myth, told by Parthenius, adds a layer. Apollo was jealous of Leucippus, a rival for Daphne's company, and caused his death before the pursuit began. In this telling, the desire is crueler and the failure of sight more pronounced. Apollo could not see what his own longing was producing. The archetype and virtue. In the myth, Daphne is Apollo's clearest relational failure. The person who carries the rational Apollo archetype might also find it genuinely hard to see another person as they actually are, rather than as an object of desire or admiration. With the Daphne myth, this limitation becomes the whole story. Apollo pursues her with every argument he has. He names his qualities. He lists what he can offer. He cannot hear the one thing she is communicating, which is no. She is not a puzzle to be solved or a domain to be mastered. She is a person with her own being, and that being is in flight from him. This represents the shadow of emotional distance in relationships, not the inability to feel, but the inability to truly receive the other person. The desire, in this shadow, remains oriented toward itself. It reaches toward the other but cannot make genuine contact, because genuine contact would require giving up the self-sufficiency the archetype is built around. The virtue Aristotle would name for this behavior is a failure in Sophrosyne, self-mastery, specifically concerning pleasures and appetites. The person with Sophrosyne would govern desire with reason. They take pleasure in appropriate things, in appropriate measure. The excess, pursuing pleasure past what is warranted, past what the situation allows, is the failure Sophrosyne is meant to correct. What Apollo needed in his pursuit of Daphne was not more feeling. It was the self-mastery to receive information that contradicted his desire. Sophrosyne, in relationships, is the capacity to let what is actually true about the other person change what you do. Daphne's running was a clear message. Apollo could not let it land. There is an irony at the center of this shadow. The rational man, who prides himself on clarity above all things, can become the least rational in times of desire. He can illuminate everything except the force that is driving him. Sophrosyne is the virtue that asks the intellect to turn that same clear sight on itself. And now, today's healing words. Feel free to repeat after me, or simply listen and absorb the words. I call on the Apollo within me. part that can see clearly, that can illuminate, define, and bring order to complexity. I do not disown this capacity. But today, I call on my own self-mastery so that I can turn clarity inward onto my own desire. That can ask, what am I actually seeing here? What is the other person telling me that I have not been willing to hear? I call on the capacity to let what is true about another person change what I do. To receive, not just to pursue. As we close out this episode, consider doing this project for today. Think of one relationship, past or present, where you pursued something the other person was not offering. Not to judge yourself, but to see clearly. Write one sentence about what you were not able to hear at the time. That is your Daphne, the person behind the running. That's it for today's episode. Tomorrow, on the Prytan Podcast, Cassandra, the shadow archetype of truth weaponized, and the virtue of Andrea, courage. If you'd like to join our community and support what we do, you can subscribe to us on your platform of choice and follow us on social media. Links are on our website at prytanpodcast.com. That's Prytan podcast.com. In the meantime, live well and flourish.